Hi, Lewis. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Rachel?
I'm good. So, when I talked to Austin earlier, I was like, I know it's 2013, but how badly did you want to put the Top Gun beach scene in the Fitspiration board? Because I do think that is just a very funny thing that this character has is a bunch of hot dudes on his wall. When
Hell
you We're getting to that point where it's like a bad 2013 tattoos, like the earring in his ear and the Fitspiration. How did all of that kind of help you into understanding who Jordan was in like the earlier scenes where he's trying to be like nice and not Jordan?
yeah. First of all, it depends on who you're asking and whether those tattoos are bad or not. And I think
Yeah,
Jordan
the
thought
lower
that was,
abdomen tat. Real good.
I think Jordan thought that was cool. Austin allowed me to kind of some free reign there, so I got to design also the tattoo and where it would go. We had some discussions about the placement. I like bought some fake tanner and like self tanner, and I bought a fake earring and a necklace, and if you look closely, a nipple ring. Some people miss that, but that is there.
Gonna have
And
to
that
go
was
back.
really important to me. I love Austin and I'll follow him to the grave. But he did panic last second. We were about to shoot that scene and he was like, we can't do the nipple ring. He was like, it's too much. And I was like, I've been dreaming about this nipple ring. I think it's so insane. We got to do it. I was almost going to pierce my nipple for this.
Okay, well that's far. But also, I like that the nipple ring was the like cut off of this guy. Like that
Yeah,
was
that's where he drew the line. I was about to do it, and then somebody was like, "You permanently damage your nipple, and like then you have one big nipple." And I was like, "Ah, it's not worth it. I can just glue a thing on." Um,
there's clip
but yeah,
on.
it was fun to be able to kind of design him and Austin with Austin, and Austin gave me so much good like resource material and stuff to watch and books to read and when it comes to this kind of guy and this kind of he's a drifter kind of wanderer scheme artist. In some ways it's like one of the more ancient career paths known to man.
I agree, but I also think this movie is so weirdly 2013 that I think is very funny because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I was in college. I remember those phones. I remember how all of us thought we were fashionable and nobody actually was. But how was it to kind of go back as because I think you and we talked about going to college at the same time, but how was it to go back as an adult into like a 2013 mindset?
It was a trip because I was trying to remember like when I first heard about Instagram and like when Instagram like always like when it first came out, it seemed like it was going to be like Pinterest or something where it was
Mhm.
like, oh, is that really that's going to be some people will use that. It's not going to be like a how you learn everything about somebody before you even know them kind of a thing. But yeah, like even like there's a scene where I'm pitching Instagram to Elizabeth Hope, and I was like, I wonder if he actually, like we got to give Jordan some credit. He was sort of like ahead of the curve here, right?
When he also has the best line in that scene where he's using a what like an iPhone 5 and is like, this is the best picture I've ever taken. I was like, my guy, what pictures have you been taking of people?
My guy, you were full of crap.
He has a bad camera. It's just
He's like really believes it too. He's like, it's fucking gorgeous.
it's so funny. For a last question, well, I have two last questions. One's dumb, but this is a legit question for this movie.
Please.
When you are, you're being a lot of the comedy that we get to see in this thriller, is that exciting to know that like you're the comedic relief that we're seeing in it while she's kind of having these panic attacks and freaking out the entire time?
Yeah, it was really fun to be able to kind of just like lean into, the absurdity of it. It was hard because like you go into work and like Elizabeth is so good and she's making Hope Goldman so believable and grounded and
Mhm.
while also like bringing the insanity and the heightenedness to it. And so like didn't want to detract from that and also didn't want to go too big and was trying to match, but still have fun. But yeah, it was one of the more fun times I've had acting.
And for my last thing, so I've been calling you Bob Squared since San Diego Comic-Con because I was like in the Marvel hall and I was like, yeah, that's my guy. But I I want you to make this face if you do know, because Glenn Powell said he has a date for Top Gun 3. If you also have a date, can you do this?
Rachel, I'll tell you if I knew. And I probably could text. For some reason I read that article as well. I could text Glenn, but I'm kind of like, if I don't want to like nose my way in. I haven't heard anything about it. But I would, but it sounds like it's down the line, you know? And would that, if I showed up again in Top Gun 3, would that make me what like
It would
not
still
just
be Bob Squared. You're still the same Bob.
still the same Bob? By the way, you just coined that.
Bob Squared? Yeah.
Yeah. And
Listen,
now
Bob and Hangman scenes. That's all I want. I don't get anything
I'd
else.
love some more Bob and Hangman scenes. So if I say Bob Squared in the future now, do I have to credit you and say like trademark by Rachel after
Yes.
I say it? Okay.
Trademark Rachel Leishman, Bob Squared.
So
But
whisper that after I say it.
Rachel Leishman, as soon as
Okay,
you say
do
Bob
that.
Squared, be perfect.
Perfect.
I
Perfect.
can't wait for everyone to get to see skincare. So excited you got a nomination for lessons in chemistry. And
Thank
I
you.
also am a Yelena Belova girl. So there's like a bunch of shit that I'm just like, I'm so excited Lewis Pullman and all of this.
Thank you. It means the world. Thanks, Rachel.
Thank you. Have a great one.
So good to see you.
Rachel, good seeing you. Bye.